react with one another, the rate of reaction and the direction of reaction is always fixed. It will never change. So, anabolic pathway is also called as the biosynthetic pathway. Proteins are also one of the best examples of a catalyst which actually speeds the metabolic reactions. Catabolic pathway, the larger molecules are broken down into smaller molecules and there is release of energy. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to another session on chapter 9, that is biomolecules. I am Dr. Divya, biology faculty, Vidyashram Pre-University College, Mysore Temple of Excellence. So in the previous session, we had studied about proteins and the structure of the proteins, wherein we studied about the primary, secondary, the tertiary and the quaternary structure of proteins. And also we learned a little about the nucleic acids and also about the biomolecules, wherein the bio-macromolecules as well as the bio-micromolecules. In today's session, we shall learn about the living state and its metabolism process and the different types of metabolic pathways in general. So all that we'll study in today's session. So we shall start with studying the dynamic state of body constituents, and that is especially under that the concept of metabolism. So we all know that our body is made up of thousands together of chemicals which take place in various metabolic reactions that brings about the normal biological activity, be it the proteins, which are also nothing but chemicals made up of chains of amino acids, be it the lipids, be it any kind of chemical components that are there in our body. So they all take part in various biological activities through various metabolic pathways. So in this, we shall learn about a term called as turnover today. So turnover is nothing but chemical compounds or biomolecules which actually constantly change the function of some other biomolecules, and they are also made up of some other biomolecules. That is, they do not exist as on their own, but they combine with other biomolecules and alter the process of chemical reaction, therefore bringing about a different metabolic pathway. So what is turnover? Turnover is nothing but those biomolecules that are constantly being changed into some other biomolecules and also made from some other biomolecule. So that is nothing but turnover. So during the process of turnover, there is making up of some other biomolecules or there is breaking up of some other biomolecules. So this making and breaking of the biomolecules, how will it take place? It is through various chemical reaction. So we all know that, say for example, in a body, any reaction, if it has to take place, then there is a need for an enzyme. Only if that enzyme come and act in that particular reaction or a metabolic pathway, then that biological activity will take place smoothly. So that is how. So when that enzyme acts on a particular chemical compound, it can either lead to breaking of that particular chemical compound or it can lead to the making up of that particular chemical compound. So this breaking and making is through various chemical reactions that is constantly and every day occurring in living organisms. Say for example, we eat food. So when we eat food, the proteins are broken down. So the carbohydrates that are there in the food, they are also broken down by the biomolecules. Say for example, such as enzymes. What are the enzymes? Say for example, we have salivary amylase. So that salivary amylase will act on the food that we are eating in the mouth, which we are chewing, and that will break that food into it will break the carbohydrates that are present in the food. Next, after it enters into the stomach, it is the function of the pepsin to actually break down the proteins. And when it enters into the small intestine, again there the lipases and also the other enzymes, intestinal enzymes that are being secreted, they will also break down the carbohydrates, the fat and proteins, all that will be completely broken down. So you know that now a metabolic pathway, that is what metabolic pathway is taking place here, the process of digestion. So when that process of digestion is taking place here, various enzymes are playing a role, are coming in between to break they're either making a compound and then they are breaking a compound. So here they are breaking the proteins, the fats and all that. So therefore what it means that the breaking and making, whatever takes place, everything is through a chemical reaction and it continuously keeps on occurring in a body every day. We all are subjected to lot of exercise related activities every day, be it climbing a stair or be it walking, any kind of thing. So at that time what happens, our muscles will not receive enough of the oxygen, right? So if it doesn't receive enough of the oxygen, what happens? Pyruvic acid will get converted into pyruvate and that will get converted into the lactic acid. So therefore what happens? So that is also a pathway that it leads to. So therefore every day this chemical reaction or the turnover process wherein the breaking and the making of various compounds to chemical reaction, it is a continuous process in a living organism. It will never stop. So that is why it is a continuous process. So after this turnover, or making of a chemical compound or a breaking of a chemical compound or the conversion of biomolecules into some other biomolecules, all that will lead to the metabolism. So what is metabolism? All the chemical reactions that occurs during the turnover process, they come together, they join together to perform a particular function that is nothing but called as metabolism. So I gave you the example of digestion. So in different regions of the digestive system, different enzymes get secreted, which are nothing but again they are chemical compounds, right? They get secreted and they will help in the bringing up of a particular metabolism process here, which is nothing but digestion. So what is metabolism? All the chemical reactions coming together is nothing but called as metabolism. So each of the metabolic reactions result in the transformation of biomolecules. So this at the end of the day, it will result in the transformation of the biomolecules. So the long chains of amino acids, which is nothing but proteins, they will get broken down and they will be utilized for various biological activities. So that is nothing but metabolism process. I'm giving you the example of taking proteins here. So this is about metabolism. So here we can explain metabolism by taking the one particular example for metabolic transformation here, that is the removal of carbon dioxide from amino acid. So carbon dioxide, if it gets removed, so I told you what is turnover. Turnover can result in either making of a chemical compound or a breaking of a chemical compound. Here a breaking of a chemical compound is occurring. Why I am using the word breaking is because here carbon dioxide is being removed. From where is it being removed? From the amino acids. So from the amino acids, if the carbon dioxide is removed, then it will convert the amino acid into an amine. So that is how. If carbon dioxide is attached to the amino acid, it will remain an amino acid. But on the other hand, if the carbon dioxide is removed from the amino acid will get converted into an amine. And one more here is the removal of amino group in a nucleotide base is also one of the best examples. So if an amino group gets removed from a nucleotide base, that is also one of the example. Here also breaking of a compound is occurring. Breaking of what? Breaking of a nucleotide base, wherein the amino acid will be removed from the nucleotide base. Next here comes hydrolysis of a glycosidic bond in a disaccharide. So here also this is one of the best example, wherein in a glycosidic bond the disaccharides are held together. Disaccharides means there are two monosaccharide units. If they are held together by a glycosidic bond, then they form a disaccharide. So here also breaking of the compound is occurring. What is happening here? The breaking of the glycosidic bond or the hydrolysis of the glycosidic bond will occur here. So these are some of the examples for various metabolic transformations that occur in a living organism, and all these processes are continuous. It will take place in a living organism continuously. So next, talking about the different metabolic pathways. So we came to know what metabolism is. We talked about few of the examples of the metabolic transformation, and in metabolism there are two types of pathway. One is called as the catabolic pathway and the other one is the anabolic pathway. So we shall see what these two are. So metabolic pathway. So here what happens here is various metabolites or the metabolic compounds that are present in an organism, living organism, they get converted into each other in a long chain of reaction called as the metabolic pathway. So metabolic pathway, one pathway leads to the other. So we have examples in your PUC textbook. If you refer the other chapters, there is some pathways, be it the glycolysis pathway or the Kelvin cycle or the TCA cycle. All these, what happens, it is not just one reaction occurring. It is groups of reaction joined together to give a end product at the end, and the cycle continues. So therefore, what is the metabolic pathway? Metabolic pathway is nothing but wherein the metabolites or the chemical compounds or the biomolecules are converted into each other. They react with each other. They convert into various forms through a series of reaction, through chains of reaction, which is nothing but called as the metabolic pathway. And these pathways can either be linear or circular. If it is circular, means it will continue. Say for example, the glycolysis circle is continuous, but be it the conversion of pyruvic acid to lactic acid, it is linear. So that is the difference here. So here these pathways can either be linear or it can be in the form of a continuous cycle without a stop, which will continue throughout. So these pathways, they actually crisscross with each other and they result in various biological activities to occur in a living organism. So this is about metabolic pathway. So in metabolic pathway, there are actually two types of metabolic pathway which we will study later. So here in this dynamic state of body constituents, what happens here is in the metabolic pathway, there is flow of metabolites through the metabolic pathway and it has a definite rate and direction. It will not flow in a haphazard manner. It has a definite rate and digestion. So the rate of metabolic reaction that occurs and the direction in which the metabolic reaction occurs, all these are pre-planned and it will occur in that manner itself. It will not get reversed. Therefore, the flow of metabolites through the metabolic pathway. So what was metabolic pathway? I told you metabolic pathway can either be linear or it can be a circular. So in that linear or circular metabolic pathway, there are various metabolites which flow through an order in the pathway, means they react with one another in a definite manner. So here what happens here is when they react with one another, the rate of reaction and the direction of reaction is always fixed. It will never change. So that is the flow of metabolites through the metabolic pathway has a definite rate and a direction. They will never change. So this interlinked metabolic traffic, it is very, very smooth. It is just like the vehicles that are traveling on a on a highway. So on highways or maybe when you enter into a city, to allow the vehicles to move easily, they have traffic signals, right? So when there is a traffic signal, you would have seen the vehicles moving in one direction. So when there is a red light, they will stop there. Will they just take a reverse in that road and come back saying that, okay, the red light is there, I'll just move to another road by taking a reverse? No, it will go in one direction itself. That is the rule, right? Just like that, how the vehicles maintain their form in the traffic or maintain the rules in the traffic, just like that, the metabolic pathway also, which is also called as metabolic traffic, it is very smooth and it is without a single reported mishap. So what happens? They will not overlap with each other. So I told you glycolysis, it is a cycle. It is a cycle of reaction wherein say for example, one reaction, it will not occur first, the reaction that has to take place first and will not overlap with that of the third or the fourth reaction. The first reaction will take place, then it will move on to the second one, the third one, the fourth one, like that. It will continue in a definite manner or a correct manner. They will never overlap. So what happens if it overlaps? It may lead to a lot of health condition, because our body, whatever we are today, it is nothing but the various metabolic reactions that are taking place in an orderly manner. So that is why, just like how vehicles maintain themselves in a traffic, that is the same way here also the metabolic reaction that occurs, or the metabolic pathway, or the metabolites taking part in this particular metabolic pathway, they are smooth, play their role very smoothly without a single causing any single problem, without any overlapping or without halting their reaction. Why? Because if that happens, it will lead to various problems in the health condition. Therefore, these metabolic pathways, or the proper functioning of the metabolic pathway, is very, very important for a good healthy human being or a good healthy living. And here in this metabolic pathway, there is no uncatalyzed metabolic conversion in the living system. Say for example, even carbon dioxide, if dissolving in water, though it is a physical process, it is a catalyzed reaction in the living system. But metabolic pathway, there is no uncatalyzed metabolic pathway, because all are catalytic. Why? Because catalytic, because if this metabolic pathway has to occur also, enzymes will take part there. Only if enzymes act properly, these metabolic pathway will occur. Say for example, even the carbon dioxide, a simple carbon dioxide dissolving in water, though it is a physical process, that also requires a catalyst to function properly. So the best example for a catalyst that I can take is the enzymes. Without the functioning of any of the enzyme, be it the DNA. So if we know in a DNA, if a protein has to be synthesized from the DNA also, that is the main function is of the DNA. But if the DNA has to function properly, be it transcription, translation, all those processes, if it has to occur properly, then the enzymes that has to act at that point of time should act correctly. Otherwise, the synthesis of proteins will not at all occur. That is why, be it a complex reaction or be it a simple reaction such as the carbon dioxide dissolving in water, for all these, they are all catalyzed reaction. A catalyst is needed. Say for example, the enzymes are needed there. So therefore, metabolic pathways will not occur properly without the intervention of a catalyst. So the catalyst is very much needed there. And a catalyst which actually speeds the rate of a given metabolite conversion are also proteins. So proteins are also needed. So what happens at the end of the day? Proteins will get synthesized. So there are various enzymes which will take part in DNA, which will allow the DNA to perform its regular function normally, so that it can synthesize the proteins through the mRNA. Once the proteins are synthesized, these proteins will also be utilized by various parts of our bodies or various organs to undergo this metabolic reaction or the metabolic pathway. So therefore, catalyst which increase the speed of reaction, proteins, enzymes, all that are one and the same. So proteins are also one of the best examples of a catalyst which actually speeds the metabolic reaction. So that is why any metabolic reaction, if it has to take place, then catalysts are very, very important there. And these proteins which have the catalytic power are nothing but enzymes. So enzymes are nothing but proteins, or proteins are nothing but made of long chains of amino acids. So therefore, one of the best example for a catalyst to speed up the metabolic pathway and to make sure that all the metabolic pathways are taking place in a correct way, the best example for that is an enzyme. So this was about the dynamic state of body constituents, wherein we studied about the concept of metabolism. So what is a body constituent made up of? It is nothing but made up of a lot of biomacromolecules and biomolecules which take place in a metabolic reaction taking the help of catalysts such as the enzyme. So this is the concept that occurs in our body. Throughout our body, like a machine, it will be undergoing various metabolic pathways until we live. So that it is a continuous process. So, and I told you earlier, metabolic pathways are actually of two types. One is called as the anabolic pathway and the other one is the catabolic pathway. Anabolic pathway is also called as the biosynthetic pathway. So, anabolic pathways are ones which require energy to synthesize large molecules. So, they need energy in the form of ATPs in order to synthesize. So, you know that anything, be it a plant or be it a human being, for any reaction to occur, they need a little bit of amount, and especially if a biomacromolecule or if a large macromolecule has to be synthesized, then the requirement of energy is even more. So, such pathways which require energy to synthesize larger molecules or biomacromolecules are called as the anabolic pathway, and they are also called as the biosynthetic pathway. One of the best example for anabolic pathway is the acetic acid becoming cholesterol. So, cholesterol is biomacromolecule. It is a biomacromolecule. So, though lipids are considered to be biomolecules, though they are considered to be biomolecules, but in spite of them, they remain in the insoluble fraction. So, because why do they remain in the insoluble fraction? Because they are larger. So, that is why the conversion of acetic acid. So, cholesterol is a larger molecule. It is a biomacromolecule. So, in order for acetic acid to become cholesterol in a metabolic pathway, it requires a lot of energy. So, therefore, such pathways are called as an anabolic pathway. So, you can see here, small molecules are assembled into larger ones. So, if these small molecules need to be assembled or need to be arranged to form a larger molecules, what happens? Here, a lot of energy is needed. So, therefore, this is nothing but the anabolic pathway. Here, anabolic pathway, energy is utilized, whereas in catabolic pathway, the energy will be released. So, next moving on to the catabolic pathway. So, catabolic pathways involve the degradation or breakdown of a complex molecule into simpler ones. So, understand the difference. Anabolic pathway, the simple molecules will, here making of a molecule will occur. Why? Because I told you metabolic pathways can be either in which turnover will occur. It can be either making of a molecule can take place or a breaking of a molecule can take place. So, making of a molecule will occur in an anabolic pathway, which is a form of a metabolic pathway, and it is also called as the biosynthetic pathway. So, here what happens here is smaller molecules will join together to form a larger molecule, and for this particular process, here making of a molecule is occurring. Why? 2 or 3 smaller molecules, they join together. By making use of the energy, they get converted into a larger molecule. So, that is anabolic pathway. When we talk about catabolic pathway, here degradation or breaking down of the molecules will occur. Why? Because here larger molecules, to join something you need a lot of energy rather than breaking, right? So, it's the best example I can give you of is pottery making. So, to make a pot, a mud pot or a clay pot, the potter, how much energy and how much time he puts into it. And for us to just take a stick and break it, it will not require that much energy. So, the same concept here. So, making of the clay pot by a potter is an anabolic pathway wherein lot of energy is required. He's just taking mud and is making it into something big. What is that? A pot, right? But taking a stick and breaking that big pot, that is a larger molecule into smaller bits, is nothing but the catabolic pathway. So, it is easy to remember that way. So, catabolic pathways involves the degradation or breakdown of complex molecules into simpler ones. Here, the complex molecules that are there will be broken down into simpler ones. Here, energy is not involved for breaking, or very negligible amount of energy might be needed. So, therefore, here catabolic pathway, it involves the degradation or the breakdown of complex molecules will get broken down into simpler molecules, and therefore since energy is not utilized here, it will lead to the release of energy. There in anabolic pathway, energy is utilized. In catabolic pathway, energy is released. So, here energy gets utilized, here energy will be released. So, that is the difference. So, catabolic pathway, it leads to the release of energy. One of the best example is wherein glucose becomes lactic acid in a skeletal muscles. So we all know that when we exercise or when we work out in the gym or when we exercise or when we play cricket, football or any of the sport, athletics, anything, we strain our body. So during that process, what happens? The muscles cramp. Why do the muscles cramp? The muscles cramp because here to the muscles, especially the skeletal muscles, enough of oxygen will not be supplied. So therefore, it will result in an anaerobic condition. So in the absence of oxygen, what happens? That is, the glucose will get converted into the lactic acid, which is nothing but glycolysis will occur, wherein the glucose gets converted into the lactic acid. Here, glucose is a larger molecule which gets broken down into smaller molecules of lactic acid, and therefore energy gets released. So we all know that glucose is one of the most important form of energy currency in living organisms, and also for any pathway, be it the simple glycolysis that we have seen here, wherein glucose gets converted into lactic acid, all that doesn't require energy, but other things, that is anabolic pathway, requires a lot of energy which is supplied in the form of the ATP, that is nothing but called as the adenosine triphosphate. So this is about catabolic pathway. So for anabolic pathway, the energy that is required is in the form of ATP, which is nothing but adenosine triphosphate. So this is the difference between the anabolic pathway and the catabolic pathway. Next, we shall talk about the living state of an organism. So we know that our body is made up of tens to thousands of different chemical compounds which are nothing but called as the metabolites, right? So we were talking about the metabolic pathway so long. In this metabolic pathway, there are tens to thousands together of chemical compounds that are being involved, which are nothing but called as the metabolites, or in other words, they are also called as the biomolecules, and they are present at different concentrations. Don't think that all these biomolecules are present in the same concentration in a living organism. No, according to the requirement and according to the function in a living organism, they are present in different concentrations. Say for example, the blood concentration of glucose in a normal healthy individual is 4.2 millimolar per liter to 6.1 millimolar per liter. So glucose is also a biomolecule. So the content of glucose, that is in the blood cells, the concentration of glucose, when we take the example of a normal healthy individual, it is about 4.2 millimolar per liter to 6.1 millimolar per liter. So the concentration of metabolite I was talking about, glucose. Next, while that of hormones. So hormones are also present in a body, which is very, very important for all the activities to take place in a body properly. So they would be just nanograms per ml. Imagine hormones, it is just nanograms. So both are metabolites, hormones, different hormones that are there in a human being. It is just nanograms, very, very less per ml. It is in nanogram quantity. But whereas glucose that is present in the blood, it is about 4.2 millimolar. Why glucose is more? Because we know that the energy source that is needed to perform all our daily activities is got from glucose. The blood sugar that is there is the one that keeps us strong, keeps us to do all the other activities. So you know that if the blood glucose level goes down, we will feel tired, right? Fatigue will occur, will feel like fainting, all that will happen. So glucose is one of the most important thing that is needed for everything to occur normally. So therefore, it is in higher concentration. Whereas hormones, even in nanograms, they can perform the function that has need to be done. They will perform. So that is the difference here. So in a living state, biomolecules or the metabolites, though they participate in different biochemical reactions, they are not present in the same concentration. They vary according to their function or according to how much they are needed to perform a normal activity on a daily basis. And we know that all living organisms, they exist in this world in a steady state characteristic based on the concentration of each of these biomolecules. So Say for example, glucose. Glucose is a biomolecule. Glucose should neither fall down below the normal range that I have mentioned earlier in the previous slide, nor it should go above the normal range. What will happen? It will lead to diabetes. It will alter the health condition of that particular individual, right? Even hormones. Hormones also, if it need to perform all the activities, be it the growth and be it activity related to the human fertility, male fertility or the female fertility, all these are based on the hormones, right? Even hormones, if it goes above the normal concentration or below the normal concentration, it will alter that particular biological activity in that particular individual. So therefore, all living organisms tend to exist in a steady state based on the concentration of these biomolecules. So therefore, biomolecules are very, very important, especially the concentration. Say for example, if in a healthy individual, if 4.2 millimolar glucose should be present, then it has to be only so much. It should not go beyond that. 4.2 to 6.2, if it is there, it should be in that range only. It should not go below that range nor above that range. Otherwise, it will cause a hazard to the health of the individual. And these biomolecules are always in a metabolic flux. They are always actively participating in various biochemical pathways in order for the normal biological activity to take place. And we should remember the concentration of each of the biomolecules is very, very important here. So here in a living organism, in a normal living organism, any chemical or physical process, if it has to take place, then it moves spontaneously to equilibrium state. So equilibrium state is nothing but, or the steady state. So it will be in equilibrium, and our body is always in a steady state, means the steady state is a non-equilibrium state. So here physics is almost involved in biology, wherein according to physics systems, anything at equilibrium cannot perform a function. So according to physics system, at equilibrium cannot perform work. So any system, according to physics, any system that is in equilibrium, it cannot perform any of the work. So therefore, all living organisms work continuously. They cannot afford to reach an equilibrium. If it reaches an equilibrium, what it means? If it reaches a steady state, means it is the death of the individual. Nothing is happening in that particular individual. There is no work or metabolic pathways occurring in that particular individual. So therefore, no individual remains in a steady state. Why? Because always there are various metabolic pathways that are taking place. So the living state of a living organism is a non-equilibrium state. It is not a steady state. So it is in a steady state. What kind of a steady state? A steady state which is non-equilibrium. So why it is non-equilibrium? Because if it reaches equilibrium, then the organism is not said to be in a steady state. Or all living organisms work continuously, because until we die, the various reactions that are occurring in our body is a continuous process. It will never stop. Only during a death it will stop, right? Until then, it is a continuous process wherein it will never acquire a equilibrium state. So it will be always in a non-equilibrium state. They will never reach a equilibrium state. So that is the state of a living organism, or in other words, it is the living state. So what is the living state of an organism? So all organisms, they exist in a steady state. So what is steady state? Remember, steady state means it is the equilibrium state. Steady state here is the non-equilibrium state. So if the steady state reaches the equilibrium state, it is not good for a living organism. So they will never reach a equilibrium state. The metabolic pathways or the functions that has to take place using various biomolecules will keep on functioning throughout in an individual until its death. So that is the main living state of an organism, wherein the living state of an organism is a steady state which never reaches the equilibrium. So hence the living state is a non-equilibrium steady state. So what is it? It is a non-equilibrium steady state. Again, don't get confused here. It is a steady state which will never reach equilibrium. Why it will not reach equilibrium? Because all the metabolic activities or pathways will be taking place until the individual dies. So it is a continuous process. So therefore, the living state is a steady state, non-equilibrium. It is a or in other words, we can say it is a non-equilibrium steady state. And this non-equilibrium steady state is very, very important for the living organism to be able to perform work, and for the living process is a constant effort. So for an individual to remain alive, so in a body, why are we alive? Because various metabolic pathways or biomolecules that are there in our body are functioning properly. They are continuously functioning, right? So living process is a constant effort to prevent falling into equilibrium. So the metabolic pathways makes use of various catalysts such as enzymes or proteins and whatever, and they continue the reaction process so that the living state of an organism will never reach a equilibrium state, and it will make sure that the pathways will make sure that the organism is always in a non-equilibrium steady state, and this is achieved by the energy input. So whatever energy we put in, that will be utilized for the metabolic pathways to run normally, therefore maintaining a non-equilibrium steady state of an organism. And metabolism, it actually provides the mechanism for production of the energy, because energy is got through various metabolic processes. Say for example, during the process of metabolism, a lot of energy is also being released, which will be made use by the living organism. Hence the living state and metabolism are always synonymous. They are like two faces of a same coin. If one doesn't function well, the other will not function properly. So therefore metabolism and the living state, that is the non-equilibrium steady state of a living organism, as well as the metabolism pathway that is taking place in a living organism, are always functioning together, supporting one another. So therefore they are always said to be synonymous. They are always synonymous. They are synchronized in their activity, and without metabolism there cannot be a living state. What will happen if metabolism is not there? Nothing will be produced. Say for example, glucose will not be produced, nor the production of hormones might take place correctly. So imagine if glucose is not produced, hormones are not produced correctly, what might happen, right? It will lead to a lot of complications in that particular individual. So therefore without metabolism there cannot exist a non-equilibrium steady living state of an organism. So therefore the living state of an organism, especially the non-equilibrium steady state of an organism, plays a very, very important role in a individual. Non-equilibrium steady state is maintained by the metabolic pathways and the energy produced by them. So this is about the living state of an organism. So you need to remember, what is the living state of an organism? It is a non-equilibrium steady state. So I hope you understood this session well. So in today's session, we studied about the dynamic state or concept of an organism, wherein we studied about the metabolism, and we studied under metabolism, we studied about the making up of a molecule and the breaking up of the molecule. And the two pathways that we studied were catabolic pathway and anabolic pathway, wherein in catabolic pathway, the larger molecules are broken down into smaller molecules and there is release of energy. Whereas in anabolic pathway, the smaller molecules come together to form a larger molecule wherein energy is being utilized. So two types of pathways we studied, and also we studied about the living state of an organism. So I hope you understood this session well. In the coming session, we shall study about the enzyme. So we shall meet in the coming session. Thank you.